Good morning. How are you?
Very well. How are you doing?
I'm excited to talk with you. I haven't seen you in quite a while. You haven't been up to Utah in a bit.
Oh yeah, I need to go up there. I have very good experiences in Utah with playing my shows and films at the Tower Theater, and I've been in Sundance a couple of times in Park City. We premiered my first film, What Is It? There in 2005, and my second film in 2007. I actually have a new film that's going to be ready to see next year, a film I've made with my father, Bruce Glover, and he's been in films like Diamonds Are Forever and Chinatown, but this will be the first time my father and I have ever acted together. And then I've acted in a number of films and projects that were shot in Utah, so I have a very a good experience with Utah in general.
Well, we love you out here, and you actually came out and talked to one of my classes, and I bumped into you on the streets at Sundance a couple of times, and
Yeah,
it's great catching up with you.
absolutely.
So let's chat a little bit about Lucky Day, but before we go into that, you are just dynamite on American Gods. What a great role that is.
Oh yeah, I'm enjoying that. In fact, there's some connection with Lucky Day and American Gods because Roger Avery, who wrote and directed Lucky Day, I'd worked with previously on a film called Beowulf, which Roger and Neil Gaiman co-wrote. Neil Gaiman, of course, wrote the beautiful novel American Gods that the show is based on. He's the executive producer of the show, so I'm working with him currently on that. And the reason I'm in Beowulf is because originally it was written by Neil and Roger for Roger to direct for himself. Robert Zemeckis got hold of the screenplay, and he wanted to direct it and paid Roger considerably for the screenplay. And he said to Roger that he would cast the people that Roger had wanted to cast in the roles. And Roger and Neil, and they had wanted me to play the role of Grendel. There'd been a lawsuit about the second Back to the Future film, which I wasn't in, because the producers had taken the original molds that were made of my face for the old age makeup in the first film, and then made prosthetics from my facial features, which they fit onto a different actor in order to fool audiences into believing that I was in the sequels, which of course I wasn't, and of course this is illegal. And because of my lawsuit, there are precedents that were set. This is something that's never going to have happen to another actor again, luckily.
Yeah, you changed the SAG-AFTRA rules, the SAG rules at that time.
Even before any kind of precedent, I mean, it was always illegal. It's stealing. Stealing is illegal. And when you think of something like that happening, you figure I'll never work with these people again. Obviously, there's a lawsuit and all of this, but I was very happy to play the role of Grendel. It was a very well written role, very well written screenplay, and so Zemeckis stayed true to what he had said to Roger and Neil and cast me as Grendel. And it was very positive because that was, a thing, the kind of thing that to have some kind of positive aspect after that. I did have a positive working relationship with Robert Zemeckis, both on Beowulf and on the original Back to the Future, ultimately as well. It's just too bad what happened later. But I am grateful to Roger and Neil Gaiman and Roger Avery for ensuring that happened. And then when I got this script and read this character that I was offered in Lucky Day, I was really happy because it was it was a great part. I only had 7 days from reading the script to being on set shooting. Relatively complex character for a very short preparation time period, but it's one of those characters that you've got to take the opportunity and commit. And the character is a committed character, so I committed, and it's good to commit to this international man of mystery, I like to call it.
He's relentless.
Yes.
In what he does.
Yeah, there was a specific goal that is not something that I'll stop until it's accomplished.
Well, and you have such a great pedigree in the writing, as you said, with Roger Ailes.
Yes.
I mean, here he is, putting this together, and it is a very intricate character study.
Absolutely, yeah. Roger's a great writer. Of course, he co-wrote Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction with Quentin Tarantino and won the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. And and he's directed very interesting films as well. So Roger knows his way around character in writing and in directing. I had a great time working with Roger.
How does you as a director relate to you as an actor? Are you someone that understands the director's eye?
Yes. It's something I edit my own films as well, and I own the camera equipment. So I have to have a technical understanding of what's going on. And that is good. I mean, it's a very different polarity of thinking, because acting really, you're trained to come from an internal aspect, an internal truth. And directing really is on some levels, many levels, very external. So bridging those two things is interesting. I could almost self-critique as an actor that I maybe sometimes can be overly aware of the external, because it's opposite of what the initial training that I've had. And yet you solve problems differently externally with a camera and setting up shots and editing, or internally from an actor. I mean, certainly a director has to understand the internal, and a writer. You have to understand the motivations. All of it's coming from the same place, but there's a different way that it's approached. But I can certainly understand when a director is asking for something externally. I mean, certain directors are more clued into the kind of vocabulary that is used when speaking with actors, or an actor's training that they're used to. Some directors are less like that. They'll just say, classically what is frowned upon is a director that will give a line reading. You say it like this. Usually, I think most directors do know not to do that. They don't. I'm thinking only very rarely have I had a director do something like that. And if they do, you generally, unless for some reason it would be horribly distracting, you kind of have to internalize and go, okay, I know what they're meaning without trying to give you the exact line reading. So you have to kind of then internalize it and rethink about how to get it to be a truthful element rather than a line reading. But that's a very uncommon. Most directors know not to do that.
Crispin, our time is so short. I could talk to you for an hour. When you come out to Utah, let's go to lunch. Let's go to dinner.
That'd be great.
I'd love to see you in person again.
Yes, and I do need to come back up there with both What Is It and Everything Is Fine, but also hopefully I'll be out there sometime next year with my new film with my father. I'll give the title when it's actually ready to be released, but we'll see. I've been touring around with my films. Next year it'll be 15 years of touring. But people can find out where I am on crispinglover.com. And I'm looking forward to seeing people at my shows and hearing what people have to say about Lucky Day. I had a great time playing the character, and I think people got something interesting out of the whole film.
Again, the name of the film is Lucky Day. You can also catch Crispin on American Gods. Watch that. It's fantastic. Crispin, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you as well. I appreciate it.